All right, so let's start with today's topic. And today's topic is we are going to cover the various models in data compression. Right now, when we talk about models, I just wanted to give you a review back that we have already done. Whenever we are designing an algorithm for data compression, what we are doing, we have two phases in that particular algorithm. That means the two phases were, first one was modeling and the second one was coding, if you remember. And if you want to see, you can just go to the earlier lectures of modeling and coding. So whenever we design an algorithm for the data compression, we have two phases. Those two phases are, one is called as modeling and second one is called as coding. Now, when we have already seen what modeling is, so the outcome of modeling is we get to have the models, right? That means we need to design models. So from here, this particular model topic is coming out. Now, when we say models, models are what? These are the point where we describe the source. And when we say source, we need to say, or we want to state that the source is the original file. Original file means the data file which we need to compress, right? So we have to describe the source in a form which is called as models. Now, how do we describe these particular sources or the original files and models? That particular is stated as mathematical model. That means we need to design the mathematical models for this data, and the data is the original file, the data which is needed to be compressed. Now, whenever we want to have a good model, that means this particular model, if a model for the data is useful in estimating the entropy of the source, then we can say the model is quite good, right? That means if we can easily estimate the entropy of the data file, that is the original data file, then we can say the model we have designed is useful or is a good model for the original data that needs to be compressed. Now we have many, various approaches in which we can build different or various mathematical models. So models can be designed with the help of different approaches. And what we are going to define, we are going to design the mathematical models. And after the creation of these particular models, we can calculate the entropy of the source. And we have already seen how we can calculate the entropy of the source. So we need to design a mathematical model with the help of which we can calculate or estimate the entropy of the source, right? So the various approaches for building these particular mathematical models in data compression are, we have four types or four various approaches. That is, first one is called as the physical model, the second one is called as the probability model, third as the composite model, and fourth one as the Markov model. Now, depending on the nature of the data, we are going to decide which model approach we are going to use to build the mathematical model for the source, right? So we need to understand, if we want to decide which approach we need to use for specific data, we need to understand what these particular approaches are about and for which particular type of data we should use the specific model approach. Now, these are the four models. In this particular lecture, I'm going to cover three models. That is, first one as the physical model, then the probability model, and the composite model. In the Markov model, we are going to cover in the next lecture. Now see, first one, that is the physical model. What does this physical model states? That is, whenever we are going to consider, first thing we are going to consider is the source, that is the original data that needs to be compressed. So we are going to check out the data and we are going to understand whether we know something about the physics of data generation. If we know anything or something about the physics of data generation, then we are going to use the physical model, right? We can use this particular model to construct the information. So this particular information which is used or which is having certain knowledge of physics and data generation, this information can be used to construct the model. However, it is too complicated to know physics of the data. We all know that it is not an easy task to know the physics of the data, but we can obtain a model based on empirical observations. That means we are not talking about the actual physics and actual science in that particular, but we can have a just empirical observation and then we can define a model for that. I've just taken an examples, two examples we have taken, that the physical model can be used for, firstly, example speech recognition system, and the other one as the residential electric meter. So first of all, let's talk about the speech recognition system. How can we use the physical model in this particular example? So if you want to, create a model for any speech related application, what we need to understand? We need to understand the physics behind the speech, right? How the voice is coming out and what is going to impact the volume or the pitch of our speech. All these particular things are going to help in creating the model. So what are the things which are need to be taken care of or to be understood is how do the speech being produced, right? Because this is a speech related application. So the speech is the main thing and we need to understand the physics behind it. So not exactly the physics as we have seen earlier, but the empirical observations that we have seen, and we can then build the model. So air is pushed from our lungs through vocal cord and out from your mouth to speech. So speech is how it is getting into speech. The air is pushed from our lungs and then through the vocal cord and then coming out from the mouth and converted to the speech, right? For certain voice sound, vocal cord vibrate. We have different speech quality, different dynamics for the speech, like the pitch is high, the pitch is lower, vibration is high, vibration is lower, and so many more things. So that depends on the vocal cord sound. As a person speak, shape of vocal tract changes. The vocal tract shape gets changed as the speak or as the person speaks up. Amount of air coming from lungs determines the loudness. So how do we determine the loudness? The amount of air that is coming out from our lungs, that will determine the loudness of the speech. So these are certain observations, empirical observations, according to which we can design a physical model. And these particular, so we can just see that the data about which we can have certain physics known, something about it, then we can use this particular model. Now next thing is the second example we have taken is electric meter, right? The residential electric meter. So to define or to calculate the charges, like per hour charges for specific meter in the residence, we need to understand we need to get the knowledge of living habits which is used to determine maximum and minimum usage. That means what is the point of time in the complete day or night which is having the maximum usage of electricity, or which particular hour is having the minimum usage of electricity. Sorry. Plus the actual reading and the reading of the model is taking, and the comparison between these two is done. That is called as the residual. that I told you in last lecture. If you want to get it in detail, what is residual? So that particular residual is taking for the difference between the actual model and the actual data that is being comprised. So this is what physical model is. Now next one is called as the probability model. This is the second model we are going to talk about, that is the probability model. This is second approach. Now in this particular probability model, this is the simplest statistical model for the source, and it is assumed that each letter that is generated by the source is independent of every other letter, and each occurs with the same probability, right? So we can say, let's say if we have a source, that generates letters from an alphabet A, capital A, then this is a source, let's say. Capital A is a source, and we have these particular letters which are generated from this source, that is A1, A2, A3 till AN. Now, A1 is completely independent of every other letter, that is A2, A3 and others. A2 is completely independent of A1, A3 and others, right? And each letter has the same probability of occurrence. That means the probability of occurrence of A1 is equal to the probability of occurrence of A2, right? In the last class, we have seen, in the earlier video also, we have seen that how we define the probability. So now we can have a probability model for this. What is the probability model? PA1 is the probability of occurrence of letter A1. PA2 is the probability of the letter occurring A2, and so on and so forth. So now what we have, if we have this probability, then what we can do is we can easily calculate the entropy of the calculate the entropy of the source. In fact, we can estimate the entropy of the source. And we all know, as I have described in the earlier slide, that if we can estimate the entropy of the source, then it is considered to be a good model, right? So we have seen this. We can also call this probability model as an ignorance model. Now, why and how we can call this particular model as an ignorance model? Because each letter is independent of the other letter. This letter is, it would generally be useful only when we know nothing about the source. We do not know what will happen with what is happening with the data. So we are not known. As an example, in the earlier physical model, we had certain knowledge about the physics of the data. But here we do not have any knowledge of the source. That is why we are calling it as the ignorance model, right? So this is called as the probability model. Now, the third one, we call it as composite model. This is the third one, that is called as the composite model, third approach. Now in this, see, at times you have certain applications in which you cannot use a single model to describe a specific source. Now what will you do there? If you do not have a source which can easily describe or which can easily use a single model, then you need to have multiple sources, right? You can have several sources to describe a specific source. In that case, we are going to use the composite model. Now here we have written, in many applications, it is not easy to use single model to describe the source. In such cases, we can define a composite source, which can be viewed as combination or composition of several sources, with only one source being active at any given time. That means, let's say we have 4 sources and we have the combination of sources, and there is a switch which will help to activate one source at a time, and it will deactivate the other 3 sources. We are going to see it in detail in the next slide. So this is like a block diagram for the same. In this, what we have stated? We have stated that, let's say we have three sources, right? Source 1, source 2, and source n. It can have any number, right? So source 1, S1, source 2, S2, and source n, Sn. And each source will have its own model, which will be called as M1, M2, and Mn will be the source of Sn. Now these are all connected, and they are connected with a switch, right? Now what the purpose of the switch is, that at a given point of time, at a single point of time, only one source will be activated. Let's say here only S1 is activated. These two sources are deactivated. So this particular model will be working at this particular point of time for the source. So whenever it is difficult to have a single source for a specific source of data, then what we are going to use? We are going to use composite model, that is the composition or combination of multiple sources. So this is the gist line here we have, that is, just remember these points. It is not simple to use single model to describe the source in many applications. In these scenarios, a composite source model is used. Composite source model uses only one source at any given point of time. That means only one single source is active at one point of time, though there are multiple sources. So wherever in any application, wherever we have speech, also where we have images, where we have videos, so there we are going to use the composite source, and then we are going to design the mathematical model for the same, and then we are going to calculate or estimate the entropy of the source, right? So that's all for this particular lecture. Thank you very much.